Hello and welcome to Age Friendly Chelmsford. This is Deb Siriani. I'm the director of the Senior Center. I'm also the co-chair of the Age Friendly Committee in town. And today's guests we have from the library, and we have Lesley Kimball, who is the director of the library, also on the Age Friendly Committee in charge of communication domain. And we have Jeff Hartman, and he is the marketing and outreach director at the library. So welcome very much.
Thanks, Debbie.
Welcome very much.
Thank you, Debbie.
Whatever. We'll go with that. That'll be the whole new thing. Welcome very much, everyone. It's so nice to have you.
It's great to be here. It's fun.
So what we wanted to talk about was the volunteer fair coming up. And we work as partners. It's at the Senior Center, but the library does a lot of the coordination and getting the different groups to sign up and show up and make sure that everything's coordinated. So we wanted to talk a little bit about that. It is
going to be on March 22nd, Saturday, from 1 to 4 p.m. Last year we had about 24 groups coming. This year we've already got over 30 groups committed. So there's going to be a really great opportunity to find out about all sorts of different opportunities to help out in the community and the region, really. People of all ages. And we get, I think, 100, 200 people coming last year. And it was really a fantastic opportunity for people to get to know each other and find out what they can do.
It's wonderful. So we have a little bit of a reel to show here. This is from 2020.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Silva and I'm with CTM, and I'm at the Chelmsford's Volunteer Fair, where a lot of organizations come together to try to ask people to volunteer.
With our teen volunteer program, we have tons of opportunities for teenagers to get involved and help us out at the library.
We do a variety of things, but our mission is really to provide service in the community, to provide fundraising efforts for charitable organizations and to provide service.
What's the Chelmsford Art Society all about? So I'm with Tom from the Elders Climate Action. So I'm at the Table of Plenty. So I'm at the town-wide cleanup booth with Serena and Dreama, both beautiful names. I met so many great people from different organizations here at the volunteer fair. And I've met them and I learned about what their group is all about, and they're making an impact on the world. So if you want to make an impact, volunteer.
She has such great energy. I love that.
It does.
And the whole room does.
Yeah, it's a wonderful feature of the absolute best parts of the volunteer fair.
Yeah, and the best parts of the town, I think. One of my favorite parts about being at the volunteer fair is it's all the nicest people in the area. I mean, they're just all really like the people that want to make an impact. Mm-hmm. And I think that video really showed that there are so many opportunities for people of all ages too, mm-hmm. where it's at the Senior Center, we have the big hall, but it is really focused on people of all ages to be able to volunteer. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about some of the volunteers that you utilize at the library.
Well, Jeff should definitely talk about our #1 volunteer.
Our favorite volunteer is Carol, who is 90 years old, and she has been volunteering at the library for at least 20 years. I asked her how long she'd been staying, and she'd been working there, and she said, "Oh, I don't know. I just am always happy to be there." And she says it makes such a difference for her to be able to leave the house, come to the library a couple times a week, just help us with little things that are difficult for us to get to, like folding calendars or counting out coins from the change machine, things like that. But it makes a huge difference for us, and it makes a huge difference for her to be able to come out there. We also have, as you saw in the video, a teen volunteer program, and that's fantastic. We had the Chelmsford Public Schools art reception this week, and the teens were really invaluable in helping get that set up, just helping us with extra sets of hands to move things around and direct people to different places, get food and drinks ready for people, and they also help out with the other children's programs in the library. It's really great.
It really makes it us as town departments able to do so much more with the time that we have and the resources that we have to be able to have volunteers help us run them as well. I know almost every single program and activity going on at the Senior Center relies on some volunteer helping out, and so we're super excited about that. and creating opportunities for people to get out into the community, make an impact, be part of, and engaged in the community, make friends. I have a volunteer, I was telling you before, I have a volunteer who is in her 90s, and she was so good that we ended up hiring her as a substitute. So I think she might be the oldest employee in town. She's 92 now, and she started out as a volunteer. And I think it was over 20 years ago, and her name is Nikki Bischoff. I think she was on the show one time with us, and so when I started as the activity director many, many moons ago at the senior center, she trained me, and now I'm her boss. So it's kind of funny because she's always like, "You're doing a good job," and I'm like, that means more to me than anything, for her to say that.
Absolutely.
But now it's kind of funny because I'm her boss, but she trained me. So it's wonderful. And I have a lot of volunteers that show up and they say, "This is my happy place. This is where I feel like I'm doing something really important." And it truly is. So what are some of the other groups that are signed up? Do you have them in your?
Yeah, I've got a whole list here. I'm not going to run through every single one of them, but a couple that are particularly cool is the Reserve Medical Corps of the Upper Merrimack Valley. They can only take volunteers who are over the age of 18, but they just do such great work, being able to help train and provide people with medical assistance when they need it, and serve as a backup for other services in the area. There's also the Lowell Humane Society, which is always a big favorite. I'm not sure whether or not they're going to bring a dog on Saturday, but you just have to show up and find out whether or not they're going to.
There are usually a few dogs there from the dog park or a few different organizations usually bring dogs too.
Yeah, sure. Another great organization, again, as you saw in the video earlier, is Table of Plenty, which helps with food insecurity in the area, a bigger issue than ever. They actually had a conference this past week to talk about how big an issue it is, and they're always looking for volunteers to help out, make sure that food is getting to the people who need it most in the area.
I was at that, and it was lovely. And the nice part about it was there were so many different, we said basically spokes to the same wheel, but that we weren't all necessarily, we hadn't all talked to each other, and been able to say, "Oh, you're doing that. That's great. I can piggyback, or I can send some of the folks that I know to you, and I don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're all spokes. That worked out well. I did.
Yeah.
Deb, nice.
I mean, I think that this is one of the things you mentioned earlier, is that there's also these connections between the groups themselves. At this. So we're connecting folks who are looking for the opportunity to make an impact, to volunteer with an organization that really is about their interests and what they're passionate about. But then we see the groups themselves, the organizations, talking to each other and learning more about, "Oh, what is it that you're doing and working towards? Can we help out with that?" Or, "Oh, I know someone that I'm going to tell about what you're doing." So
it's a great networking event.
It's a great networking
is.
event.
Yeah.
And just making those connections between people, I think, makes the entire community stronger.
Absolutely. We have a few pictures from last time we did it. I think it was last year. So this is Jeff. Yeah, you're famous. So we make sure that each group has a booth, and they have opportunities, specific opportunities of what's going on with their group, with their site, and what specific jobs are available. And it's so nice because there are a lot of people just looking around, saying, "I don't know what to do," and sometimes they don't know who to reach out to, and so it's so nice to be able to just walk around the room and go, "Wow, there are all kinds of ways I could be involved," right?
Yeah,
All kinds
I'm
of
right
people
there
need each
to
other.
get involved. Sometimes you don't know who to email or how to find out about it, and this gives you that opportunity to find it out right there.
Oh, there's me and and two of my Friends members. My friend Sharon, actually, who's on the board of the Friends, and Claire Lynch, who's on the board of the Friends. And they've been helping for a long time. The Friends group for our senior center is key. So we are looking for more people to join the Friends, too. That's my little
Well,
plug.
we're looking for people to join our friends.
See, yeah, absolutely, and they're great group, both great groups.
I mean, it's
for different
amazing
people with
what
different interests.
what these groups do. And I mean, you mentioned the board of the Friends, but there is also, we need to remember that our town government actually runs on volunteer help. We have so many boards and committees that are entirely made up of volunteers, and the work that's being done there is incredibly important to people's everyday lives and making the town go. So there will be some town representation there as well, and sometimes you think, oh, I'm not the right person to help, but you might find out that you're exactly the right person to help. So.
And it's such a nice way to just feel like not helpless about things in the world, to say, I'm out there and doing something to make a difference. And it really does, and it makes a difference in your life. It's a great way to make friends, actually.
Yes.
Finding someone with the same interest, and who knows, summer romance, who knows? You never know,
Okay,
right?
we're not promising anything at the volunteer
Oh,
fair.
wouldn't that be kind of cute to find two people met at a volunteer?
Volunteer fair.
Oh, hey, speed dating volunteer fair.
Maybe next year.
I mean, I know if nothing else, we're going to have the recycling committee there,
Yep.
the climate, energy, and sustainability committee going to be there, the diversity, equity, and inclusion committee, I think, is going to have a table as well. There's the open space stewardship, some of the garden clubs. So no matter what your interests are, there's really a great way to connect to people in the community and really think about something that you can do that's going to keep you active and out there and meeting up with folks from all these other different groups. So,
Yeah, and they're not all just from Chelmsford. So we're not just looking for people from Chelmsford, and we're also not looking for just groups from Chelmsford. Mostly from Chelmsford, but there are a lot in the area that come as well.
Yeah. One of the big organizations that's coming is the Discovery Museum in Acton. They're always looking for volunteers to help out with their programs, to work in their gift shop, to do things just to welcome guests into their organization. I know we've also got 350 Mass of Greater Lowell. They're another climate and environmental action group, but they're really for the whole region, not just for Chelmsford itself. But yeah, it's great that we can serve
love
as a
the
hub for all these communities.
I know, and I love that they're coming because I do think the Discovery Museum is one of the places that wouldn't come to people's minds right away as looking for volunteers. So it definitely highlights opportunities that you might not think of.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, my kids loved that place, the place with the dinosaur in the front, right?
You got it. I remember too.
So fun. My kids are 27 now. Maybe they'll volunteer.
I was gonna
Maybe
say,
they'll go
I was
home
gonna
and they would love
Absolutely.
doing that, I bet. Yeah, absolutely. So we're doing a little bit of a presentation. There'll be a presentation by either the town manager or Pat Wojcik, correct?
Right.
And they'll be doing a surprise presentation on a long-time volunteer.
Yeah, so very brief. It's going to be around 2 o'clock, and just a way to recognize someone who has given a lot to the town and how important, what the impact is of what that person's time and efforts and energy has been. And we didn't talk about food.
We'll have coffee. Well, it's the senior center. We always have coffee. Come on. And then the Neshoba Tech's helping us with some snacks and
Yeah. So the culinary
refreshments.
program, the students are going to be providing some cookies and some brownies, and so it's going to be really delicious, a delicious time. So
I hope so.
Come find out how you can get involved, have a nice snack, cup of coffee. It's a great day. It's a good outing.
And the hours are from 1 until 4 p.m. But you can just pop by for 10 minutes. You can pop by for an hour or two, and so we're open the whole time. And you don't have to be there the whole time.
Not at
But
all.
it's a great way to make connections and so many ages of people being able to come in and be in the same space is always a nice community event too.
Absolutely.
And all the nicest people in the whole town come at the same space. So there's great energy there. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the senior tax worker program too.
Yes.
So we'll have information about the senior tax worker program. You have some folks over at the library who work in this tax program. So tell me a couple of the jobs, if you can think of some of the jobs that you have people doing So the tax program is for people over 60 who are paying property tax in town, and the senior center administers the program. So we organize it and interview people and take the applications, and then we place 150 people every year in positions all around town, so that they can get money off their taxes per hour. So it's basically they can make up to $1,500 off of their tax bill for volunteering for the town. And so tell me about some of the jobs that you have at the library that
Well, a
utilize.
couple of things that I know that our volunteers do, and I mentioned Carol already, but we have lots of paper at the library that needs folding or cutting. We have handouts for the public. We have calendars. We have newsletters, things like that, that we just need to have somebody who is willing to sit there and fold 150 pieces of paper into thirds and something like that.
Yeah.
We also, the library, as you know, has lots of multimedia things, and DVDs and audiobook CDs. They sometimes come back scratched or dirty, and so we have volunteers who will go through and clean all those or resurface them so that they can actually extend their life and so that people can enjoy them for longer periods of time. I think also maybe people in the tax program help us go through all the donations, because if you've ever been by the library, we have a donation bin off to the side of the building, and it is just overflowing full of books that people have given to the library, which is fantastic, but we need to actually sort out what we can actually use and what needs to be given to another organization as a donation. So having volunteers to do that for us is so helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it makes a real impact. I think sometimes, people might look at volunteering and think, oh, is folding things, is that busy work? Is it whatever? But, these are things like the brochures we give to new patrons, and that makes a difference. If we didn't have those to give out, that would be a huge loss. If we couldn't get DVDs back into circulation, that would be a huge loss. Our friends in the library make, over in between $16,000 and $20,000 at their book sales, which comes back to support the library. But it could not happen if people were not doing that work. So it's essential.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't want someone on the town payroll sitting there for 2 hours folding paper, if you can help it. Budget-wise, it's so much nicer to make sure that somebody, else is helping us while we're doing all the
Everything else
all
that
the
you do.
boring stuff like bills and things. But it is wonderful. And then they become part of the community too, part of our our whole team.
Carol's part of our family. She made my daughter a wonderful hat. This was a few years ago. She knit this hat, and she asked me what my daughter's favorite color was, and then a few weeks later, she came in with this great hat, and that's such a connection for me.
sure.
To her. So absolutely, people become, kind of part of your family.
And we have at the Senior Center, actually we have someone who's a senior tax worker program helping to produce this show now.
Oh.
And Delana, and she's going to be helping us organize it and
Thank you,
connect
Delana.
the guests and try to make sure that we have the graphics together. She's helping at the studio here, and so we have people in this program as well. But then we have at the Senior Center, we have people, even just greeters at the front door. I mean, you can't hire a staff person to just sit there and greet people, but it makes such a big difference because people come in and go, where am I going? Which room am I in? Or how do I find this? And they just feel that right away, that welcoming, feeling. And we feel like that's so worth it, and so we have greeters, and we have people helping with the lunch program to take registration. We have people helping in the kitchen, in our social day program, Meals on Wheels drivers every day. We're delivering like 140 or 150 meals, and they're all not all of them are senior tax workers, so you don't have to be a tax worker to have a volunteer job. But, these positions are available to get people some money off their taxes, so it's really nice.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that is really important is there's like a horrible and problem with loneliness and people, I think, who are engaged in the community are just so much happier. They're having, there are studies about that it's really good for your health even to volunteer, like physically, mentally, you know. Didn't you have someone who was teaching a class over at the library who was she a Spanish ESL teacher or somebody who was, I think she was a senior tax worker person.
Yeah,
too,
we
right?
do have some folks who run kind of either special interest groups, or we have a couple volunteers. One of our library trustees, Deb Robeson, volunteers to do an English conversation circle. So some of these are, they're not even classes, they're that opportunity to practice a language, whether it's English, whether it's French. And you know, we have volunteers who come in who have these special skills who are able to facilitate those programs, or we have a genealogy special interest group. So you have somebody who has these great skills and wants to share them with other people in the community. That's a wonderful way to participate.
And speaking of skills, one of our newer and most popular programs is the Fix It clinics that we do every other month.
Yes.
And that's going to be coming up the first Sunday in April. And we're always looking for volunteers, but we can get people to help with the small electronics, clothing, household appliances, sometimes even computers, and having somebody come in and be able to offer somebody else in the community, this feels broken to me, but I think it can be fixed. I don't want to throw it away. I want to be able to replace it, or I don't want to have to replace it. I want to be able to reuse this if there's a quick fix. And we have people fixing vacuum cleaners and toasters and sewing machines and things like that. And it's not only a great opportunity for somebody with those skills to show them off, but an opportunity for people to come in and chat with each other and learn things. Because one thing that the Fix It volunteers are great at is telling people exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it. So you can go on and fix stuff on your own in the future.
And some of the younger people are finding out, learning from them as well, how to fix other things. So it's a great intergenerational program. And then you're saving money, you're saving the environment from throwing junk away. You know, you're actually fixing something.
And you're meeting other people who love to do that as well. We do see the coaches learning from each other. And in fact, one of them I know, there was kind of this jump over, you know, the person had brought in, I don't remember what it was, a lamp or something they needed to have fixed, and someone who knew something about electronics was helping them with that. The person who had brought in the lamp to be fixed overheard what was happening at the next table over, and that person knew how to help fix the thing that the other person, so this one person went from being someone who needed a fix to somebody, that sounded terrible, somebody who needed to have something fixed, to somebody who could help somebody else. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. I mean, again, the wide variety of stuff. We had somebody with a hoverboard, somebody with a bicycle, somebody who just needed a zipper replaced. And from no matter how big, how small, I mean, like, it's a great way to get stuff done and feel like you're taking part in a community event that might otherwise not be there for you.
And we see a lot of people who are retired folks who have amazing skills. I mean, I had a board member who was a retired architect, and she was helping me with, you know, like room setup plans and helping with capital planning and saying, okay, that wouldn't work because, you know, for the building. And so you just never know where your skills are going to fit in, and it's just wonderful to be able to count on people like that, and create community.
Yeah, and we want people to know how valuable that is. You know, people have the skills, and you want to say, you know, that is really valuable. We want that. You know, bring us that.
So if you want to feel good about the world, come to our volunteer fair. Just to meet people, it's really fun. So it is Saturday, March 22nd from 1 until 4 p.m. And it's at the Chelmsford Senior Center. And we'll be working together to make that happen with volunteers and staff. So lots of community members. So thank you so much. Did you have anything else from the library you wanted to plug before we're going?
I'm glad we got the Fix-It clinics in.
That's a great volunteer use of volunteers too. It's fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other great big thing that we're looking forward to is the One Book Chelmsford event, which is going to be coming up in April. We are going to have Pulitzer Prize winner Lian Wu coming to talk about her book, Master, Slave, Husband, Wife, this incredible nonfiction account of enslaved people escaping from terrible circumstances and what their lives were like after that. So that is coming up in April. Keep an eye on the library calendar for that, and hopefully we'll see you all there.
Okay, hope springs eternal, right? Thank you so much. Thanks for coming.
Thanks,
And
Debbie.
thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great day.